All-Star Weekend still waiting.
Damn.
King of the flop. Yeah, he do it a lot. I love it. Shout out to L Explicit. Awesome. I've just adopted this as our warm-up song. Shout out to L Explicit. Go over to his channel and give him a like. And let me welcome everyone to the Sunday panel. All of our viewers, everyone who's in the chat already. And it felt like it's a football Sunday. I'm having some friends over today, and I thought we should have a full house on the show, too. We have Sports and Fitness Rants. We have Johnny Arnett. We have NNB Sports. What's up, y'all?
What is up? Thank you for having me here, as always. And, yeah, that was sick. And I think spoke for a lot of us Laker fans right there. Real Laker fans, not the ones that are dipping, in 2026 or whenever he's out of here. So, yeah, that was a dope way to open.
Kobe said we don't hang them fake banners up.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes. Once again, man, it's great to be back on another Sunday edition, man. Angry Old Rants. You guys know the deal. Shout out to NNB Sports for coming through. Shout out to my man Johnny Arnett, man, for blessing us with his presence once again. Shout out to my man Nazar, the video footage, AOH, man. I was watching your video from the 2017 NBA Finals, Game 1, the first quarter. My goodness, man. Holy hell. It was only one quarter. I can't believe what I was watching, man. Shout out to everybody that's already in the chat. Once again, it's an NFL Sunday, man. You guys see I got my Giants team in the background. Shout out to Go Fly, my man Dakota LaReed, Renee 43. Shout out to LT, Kevin McClain. Thank you very much. CJ, Who Oracle, Leo Zakari for coming through. King Speech Row, Michael Gill, Chris Garcia, Candle Guy FX, Wonton, Jay Rockwell, Andrew Music. It's not that serious. Thank you very much to all you guys for coming through, man. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
Yeah, my only comment on after week 1 is apparently a memo went out that we're spitting on people now, and I completely missed it. I guess that's the new thing we're doing. That was crazy. I don't know what's going on.
We are going to start with you today, Nick. We are going to start with you. I want to let people know that Speam's going to be in the chat. He can't be on the call. I know I said he was joining, but he's not. And Jim, our usual data dropper at 9:30, is on a family vacation. We are without Jim today. Just warning everybody. And Nick, this involves... Jim. I'm finding a reason to involve Dallas in this conversation. With what's going on with the Clippers and finding a sneaky way to come up with money to pay extra talent to be on your team, does this not remind us of Jerry Jones going the corporate route to bring in corporate sponsorship in order to pay Deion Sanders the money that he came up with for Deion Sanders? Am I reaching too far, or is this? I know it's different, but is it similar?
You'll have to educate me. That story is not in my repertoire, so you'll have to educate me on this one. Actually, even though I'm the Cowboys fan.
Oh, okay. Well, I only learned about it because of the Netflix special about the Cowboys.
I still haven't watched it. I have this weird thing where, like, I never saw the last Matrix movie. I haven't watched the Johnny Manziel I haven't watched the Johnny Manziel Netflix thing yet because in my mind is how I want to remember it. You know what I mean? Like, I have a love for something, and I know that if I watch this thing or what have you, it's going to change it, or it's going to try it and change it the way I remember it, right? Or the way I want to feel about it, which you could see that as good or bad, but I kind of stay away from like those, the big productions of things that I liked as in my childhood or things that go on these days that I have a fond memory of.
Yep.
I'll tell you what not to avoid. Don't avoid the Expendables movies, all right? You want to talk about some childhood heroes get together, man? Go out there and check out the Expendables, everybody. Yo, once again, they're not going to win no Oscars, right? They're not going to win no big... Yo, but go check out the Expendables. You want to remember some of your childhood heroes, some of the guys we remember kicking ass from the 80s and the 90s, man. Go watch the Expendables movies, man, 1 through 4, man.
Yeah, those guys got together and said, we're not going to make the audience think. We're just going to put action in front of them and have an excuse for us to get together and kick people's asses.
That's it. I'm with it.
No thinking involved.
Yo, you know what's funny about that movie is I remember when the first one came out, there was a story that went out that they were trying to get Jean-Claude Van Damme to come out for Expendables #1. Mm-hmm. But the story goes as Jean-Claude Van Damme thought that those movies was a silly concept and that it was stupid for them to try to do this all those years later to try to, get back those glory days, so to speak. And then he saw how good the movie did, and he was like, yo, you know what? This is actually a good idea. And you saw my man Jean-Claude Van Damme was in the second one, right?
Yeah. They wasn't up to his acting chops when he read the script.
He tends to do that a lot, actually.
My God!
Remember, he was supposed to be the Predator at one point, and then he
right.
He was like, "Oh, you want to put me in a suit?" I thought I was like doing like kung fu with like Arnold. I'm out.
Yeah. Even
Johnny,
as briefly.
That's a true story. Shout out to Johnny, man, for telling that story. I did a video on my YouTube channel on the movie The Predator. And that was one of the stories I told you about Jean-Claude Van Damme not wanting to be in the suit the entire time because he felt like he wasn't getting any recognition. And the suit being very cumbersome, was over 100 pounds in suit, and trying to maneuver and do these kinds of things in that suit was very hot. He was passing out, they said, due to the heat, trying to perform. They were in a jungle, literally in a jungle during the filming of that movie.
That was before it looked like the actual sci-fi monster.
Right, it was when it still looked like a praying
roach.
mantis or something.
Yeah, like a praying mantis, exactly. That would have been Jean-Claude Van Damme. And talk about like the greatest upgrade, glow-up redesign ever.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm so glad they changed it. That was awesome.
My fun fact is Will Smith got asked to do The Matrix, and he turned it down to do Wild Wild West.
Yep. And as short as Van Damme was on the set, he still managed to hurt somebody before he was done with the Predator production.
Really? I didn't know about that. Damn.
Apparently he does that a lot too.
The muscles from Brussels.
Shout out to Jean-Claude Van Damme, man. Okay, I love it.
He's a goat. Shout out to Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's goat.
Are you guys familiar with Space Ice on YouTube? He kind of glorifies Van Damme with his movie breakdowns, but he does it in a pretty funny way.
I've never seen that.
And he shits all over Steven Seagal constantly.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. We made fun of Steven Seagal at my house a lot. Oh, just slap foo, whatever he's got.
Do either of you have an opinion on me? Either of you or anyone in the chat have an opinion? Since Nick didn't want to chime in or wasn't prepared to chime in on comparing Jerry Jones's shifty maneuvers to get more money to pay players to what I'm hearing happened with the Clippers.
I don't necessarily per se know about the Dion incident. I'll have to do some research, but I always thought that this is kind of what NIL was going to turn into in a way, is that you think about somewhere like USC, what's to keep the boosters or what have you getting in touch with some movie producer, right? And saying, hey, if you come to USC, part of the deal is that you'll get this like 10-second cameo spot on this movie he's got coming out or whatever, right? Any kind of thing that people could use to funnel money without having to pay them directly, right? Because anything you can keep off the books means you can spend more on the books, right? So I don't know if that's kind of similar, but that's kind of one thing I've always wondered about with NIL is, hey man, come to California and we'll get you in a TV commercial or something like that. Like all these kind of backdoor incentives.
I also don't think it's that rare. I think this stuff goes on behind the scenes more than we're led to believe. Especially coming from a Lakers fan, like that's always been part of like the recruitment pitch is, imagine the endorsement deals, imagine the movie like opportunities, all that sort of thing. You're telling me none of that stuff like happened beforehand to like help some of those guys become Lakers?
But none of that's part of the actual franchise's salary. They're not actually paying the player.
No, for sure.
That's just a bonus for living in LA. You can go and get all these things on your own.
Even with that, I think it's probably more common. And the funny thing is, so that wasn't even the first time Steve Ballmer tried it, because they tried that with DeAndre Jordan in 2015, and the league actually fined them for it because they tried to offer an extra endorsement deal. And so this was just the time that they got caught and it went through with it. And if Pablo Torre wasn't like this super obsessive, like to his credit, investigative journalist, nobody would be talking about this right now.
I'll say this: I've heard people asking, why is this guy Pablo Torre so invested in finding these details out about the Clippers or about Kawhi Leonard or Steve Ballmer, whatever this is, specifically his main point of focus is here, and why is he not focused on other players or other problems or other situations in the NBA as well? And maybe he is. Maybe there's other things that he's going to break next week or next month or next year. You never know with these guys. You never know what's coming around the corner. That's why I tell people oftentimes when I talk about carrying yourself, with certain values and principles, if you continue to remain consistent with these things, you carry yourself a certain way, you won't necessarily have to worry about something around the corner, because you're doing things in a right way. Like I said, integrity is doing things that are right when no one's watching you. So when we talk about the Steve Ballmer situation, the Kawhi Leonard, whatever they're doing behind closed doors when no one's watching them, then they got to live with these kinds of decisions. That's on you, whether you want to call it a shrewd business move or savvy businessman and whatever the hell it is, because I'm sure this might be on the up and up. Steve Ballmer's a very smart man. You don't become a billionaire without being very, very smart and very savvy with your money. So am I to believe that this guy doesn't know what he's doing or understand that he's doing something maybe illegal? I don't believe he's doing something maybe necessarily illegal. He might be doing something that might be frowned upon, but it may not necessarily be illegal. And those are two completely different things here. The problem for Kawhi Leonard ultimately, and I think the problem with this really comes down to, and we talk about the Deion Sanders thing, I'll bring it back to that, AOH. The thing about it is, the Cowboys, Deion Sanders, we're talking about success. We're talking about things that they were doing at the time, and it was working out, man. Ain't no one gonna mess with you when you're winning games and you're winning Super Bowls, and it's Deion freaking Sanders. Like I said, the man actually showed up on the field. Kawhi Leonard don't have that kind of cachet, man, necessarily, man. And the Clippers damn sure ain't got no damn cachet as far as their team. They aren't comparable to the Cowboys, man. So what are we talking about here? Pablo Tucker go after the Clippers. They're nobodies, man. Are you going to go after LeBron James? You're going to go after the Lakers? You're going to go after the Boston Celtics or some of these big-time organizations and some of the things that they might be doing?
Well, you have to remember the timing of it. Like, he was just coming off of the Raptors championship where he was performing at like an all-time great level. So we thought he had cachet. And people were saying, is he now the best player in the league? And then, for the next 5 years, he's just injured, load managing, all that sort of thing. But for a while, we were like, oh, Kawhi in Toronto has reached a new level. So we thought maybe he'd reach that level.
Johnny, hold on. I'll let you keep going. But
Sure,
remember,
sure.
Johnny, that season he was playing under those load managing restrictions.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So everyone knew he was kind of damaged goods. Remember, he sat out a whole season. So we have to keep those things in mind.
Sure. But I mean, some teams will take it if you get that same level of play in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. Yep.
What I will say about that, though, is what's interesting to me about this story is what were the timing of the events and how it all took place? Because you'll remember when Kawhi Leonard was a free agent, who was the one team that everybody said he was going to? The Lakers. Remember when Chris Broussard said he's 99% sure that he's going to sign imminently with the Lakers? And then it was the Clippers. It was like, what just happened?
Is he the one playing LeBron?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Paul George, they thought he was going to the Lakers. He's from LA.
But how much of that was Steve Ballmer coming in, in the right moment to just be like, okay, to like before you even make that decision, here's an extra, like I wonder if that helped really sway him in one direction or the other.
Good point.
I'm out of my league here. I don't really know. Finances is not my thing.
I also think part of it is it's just so egregious, right? And like I know Robin was saying, technically they didn't break the law per se, but
no, I don't know if they didn't. I'm not saying they didn't, Nick.
Yeah, it depends, right? I guess the fact that he didn't even show up, it does look like money laundering and stuff like that.
The check. I don't know nothing about what's going on with these people.
Yeah, but one thing I was gonna say is that it's just so egregious, right? And the whole thing, it reminds me of Lance Armstrong a little bit, that sometimes I feel like this goes on all the time, but Kawhi sitting out and kind of being a target and then finding out he's making an extra, what is it, like 30 million or 25 million on the side for doing nothing. It just is like such an egregious look that he's not even playing and all these things. So like what he was saying, I am interested in the timeline, right? Was this just to get him to come to the Clippers, or was this sort of something that was done afterwards? I think if it's done afterwards, after he had sat the bench and load managed, I think that's really what's rubbing people the wrong way, and they're kind of wondering like, what the hell, Oh, but what I was going to say is that in terms of an owner, though, he probably has done obviously something wrong. I mean, I've even heard people say they're going to take the team away from him. I don't think it's that serious, but I will be interested to see how the other owners react, because I'm sure, like we say, a lot of this goes on, and they might be saying like, let's not dig into this too much. Let's give them a slap on the wrist or a punishment, but let's not investigate too hard,
I want to clarify also and say something as far as we're talking about laws and rules, or, you're breaking, like we're talking about like, code of ethics or something like that. We talk about, in the reality or in the world. There are also that there are rules in the NBA that, these guys have to follow in guidelines. So, I'm sure that they probably violated those kinds of rules or those kinds of quote unquote laws. So, I can't speak to that. So if Steve Ballmer or the Clippers organization violated some of those rules that they've, agreed to follow, then yeah, there could be some consequences here at the end of the day for the Los Angeles Clippers.
I think the big question is, what are the consequences? What your point, Robin, is why I put Yavez's comment up here. It's not illegal, but it violates the CBA agreements.
Correct.
Okay, so you're in violation, but it's not illegal. So are you in trouble or are you not in trouble? I mean, what are the consequences?
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
I don't know what it is.
I was going to say, someone mentioned something similar that happened like this, like 25, 30 years ago. I can't remember now what it was, but it was a pretty severe punishment, like a couple first-round draft picks, obviously a heavy fine, a suspension, right? Oh, it was McHale, I think, with the Timberwolves when he did something.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not illegal like with the federally, but NBA terms, like you're not supposed to do that, and so NBA penalties. So there needs to be, I think they need to be harsh. Whether you're talking about several first round draft picks and that sort of thing, because if they don't come down on this aggressively, like if they were saying only do like one pick or 500,000 fine or whatever, you don't think these owners are just going to be like, oh, I'll take that slap on the wrist and do this to just build a super team and just circumvent the salary cap altogether. So if the NBA really cares about, which I don't know if they do, to be honest, about keeping a very honest salary cap, yeah, they should crack down hard. But honestly, like, I think there's a lot of things like this that go on with the NBA that the NBA just turns a blind eye to and would rather not know about it. And then when other people discover it and bring it up, now they're forced to address it.
Financially, and talking about salaries, you want to talk about the second apron talk that's going on, and Charles Barkley ripping on LeBron James ultimately being the reason they even had to come up with something like a second apron. Yes, no, agree. Passing blame where blame should be going somewhere else.
Just one last comment. Just one last comment on the Timberwolves got caught paying Joe Smith. That was what I was referring to. They took away 5 first-round draft picks from them and it's nowhere near as egregious as this one. So sorry, I just wanted to get that last.
So let's watch and see if the Clippers do indeed get punished.
Yep.
Thank you, Nick, for telling us that.
Yep. Second apron, thoughts or pass?
I mean, listen, when you're talking about LeBron James and you're bringing him up for any of these kinds of scenarios, it's once again, why would we bring up LeBron James? Because he's supposed to be the face of the league over these last several years now. So these kinds of see, that's the thing. LeBron James fans, I think a lot of these people, they don't really want to come to terms with the facts here. Like there comes a certain level of burden that falls on you when you are the face of a league. Whether it's fair or not, it has nothing to do with fairness or if it's right to LeBron. Oh, it's not fair to LeBron James. Why should he have to? That's just the way it is. Because when you're given the label of chosen one, when you want to say that LeBron James came in the league with this kind of label and all this stuff, once again, we have to understand that people were giving him this stuff. It wasn't that he earned it. This man played in high school. It wasn't like he was in the college leagues dominating. People like, yo, man, this goddamn crazy. He was at high school to dominate, and they gave him all of this stuff and all this hype as if he was supposed to be some dude that was supposed to do all this, man. I remember LeBron James' commercial when he was coming to the league. They asked him, ain't no pressure. There's no pressure, man. Because once again, there's no more pressure on these great players than they put on themselves. No one else is giving them more pressure. The pressure that they put on themselves is not greater than the pressure that me over here on YouTube or some freaking idiot on Twitter is giving LeBron James. That's what they're trying to make it now. Oh, what would Michael Jordan do in the social media time? What? You think he's worried about people like me, man? You think he cares? He'll use it as fuel. He laughs at this stuff, man. He ain't worried about this nonsense, man. Oh, Sports and Fitness Rants got something to say? All right, man, who's his favorite team? He'll come Google and search me up. They start talking shit. He'll come out and destroy the New York Knicks or something, man. That's what he would do. But these guys want to make burner accounts and start crying and moaning, man. So LeBron James, every burden goes on him.
Imagine a child's voice and some really weird background music. They called him the chosen one. But because he was mature and humble, he rejected that until he actually accomplished something. Oh, no, he immediately went and tattooed it on his back. But the poor guy had unfair expectations.
He was the king with no kingdom, they said, remember?
So just real quick, we want to recap what Barkley said or what. So like the NBA,
absolutely.
Yeah, the NBA has these things called aprons, which essentially is when you go over the salary cap, there's a level 1 penalty, a level 2 penalty, and they're called aprons, right? So essentially what has happened is that going over the salary cap a little bit is not that bad, but more recently they started bringing in heavier and heavier penalties and fines that you have to pay essentially to go over the second apron. That was largely done because people like Durant and LeBron were building super teams, and they were essentially paying guys over the salary cap. And imagine if you just have an owner saying, "Well, I have massively deep pockets. If I can pay these 3 or 4 players way over the salary cap for a 5 to 10 year period or whatever, I can essentially buy rings, right?" So that was like their critique from Barkley, saying that this has essentially happened because guys like LeBron and KD were just teaming up with each other to win championships. So now it's going to be really hard to keep a super team, quote unquote, together going forward. Is kind of
what Bill Simmons actually kind of like countered that, like, oh, it's going to be hard to keep a roster together. I'm like, you sound like you're afraid of competition too. I mean, maybe it should be hard to have a roster full of superstars. And isn't what you just did, doesn't that describe the New York Yankees and their approach to baseball?
Right, but baseball has no salary cap, so I mean, I know everyone knows this, but
should it? I'm going all over the place. Maybe I shouldn't.
But baseball's a completely different sport, though. AOH, like I feel like some of these conversations are not really comparable. Like when you mentioned the Cowboys earlier, like we can talk about maybe money and maybe, like I said, the shrewd maneuvers of some of these owners. But when you're talking about some of these sports like baseball and football, I mean, hell, like I said, we all know that football is the ultimate team sport. I mean, my goodness, man, there's a lot of different things going on. Like you said, it's completely, they have no guaranteed money in the NFL, man. Like these poor guys out there got to basically give themselves up, man, and hope that they don't get hurt. They have the hope on this stuff, basically, man. So, in baseball, to me, like I said, you talk about, baseball and what it takes. I mean, think about someone like Mike Trout, for example. They were talking about Mike Trout as one of the greatest baseball players of all time. This man hasn't sniffed a World Series, not sniffed one, guys. And they talk about him being the greatest baseball player of all time because of what he could do. But the man is only one guy on a field, man, on a baseball team.
Sure.
Yeah, I will say the idea of winning like World Series in baseball is a little different than other sports, right? Because so much is outside of your control as one player in baseball. I mean, Mike Trout is considered to be one of like the best baseball players we've ever seen. Like the guy literally could do it all. Like, yeah, the guy was incredible.
Mountain Skies says that Kawhi needs a 2-year suspension. What would that be, like a 5-game difference in what he's doing right now?
Yeah.
Basically, he'd probably be thrilled. As long as he's getting paid.
Are you paying me? No problem.
But to directly answer your question of, is Barkley right to blame LeBron? I mean, if you want to go to the source, I don't see how you could blame anybody else. Like, I have always argued that KD did it even worse, but it's definitely LeBron who set the trend, because, people want to bring up other examples up to that point. But ring chasing was a thing in the past, and to a certain extent, it was accepted. Like ring chasing in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, that was accepted as an older player at the very tail end of his career, accepting way less money to spend a year or two on a championship contender to try to get a ring. And people didn't have a problem with
first
it.
Ring.
Yeah, important. The first ring, exactly. Yeah. And so, Barkley on the Rockets and, Karl Malone, Gary Payton on the Lakers, that sort of thing, it was kind of accepted to a certain extent. And then when there was super teams, those were stuffs that were kind of brought together by the general managers exclusively. So Ray Allen was traded for, like on draft day. And then soon after that, they brought in Kevin Garnett and had the big three on the Boston Celtics. And even KG at that time, I mean, he was great in 2008, won Defensive Player of the Year. He was not as good as he was in Minnesota. He was definitely starting to decline at that point. Then LeBron, Wade, and Bosh all join up on Miami all take big money. They sacrificed a little bit. They talked about sacrifice. They sacrificed hardly anything. They all still got close to max money for all three of them. It was the rest of the roster they had to fill out. And they were all still in their 20s. They were coming off of a year where they were 3 out of the top 4 MVP candidates in the Eastern Conference. And like that was unheard of. That had never happened before. And now it's weird because what was accepted in the past where you ring chase in the tail end of your career has almost flipped, where now guys are ring chasing and hopping from team to teams in their prime. And you're criticized for doing that at the tail end of your career, which makes no sense to me. Like, that's the time you should be doing that. And so, yeah, I mean, who would you blame? I don't see how it couldn't be LeBron. That was the first of its kind in that sense.
And what stood out to me about what you said with the 80s guys is that did it mess up the competitive balance? We can see that it did not, because it never worked. If anything, it kept them somewhat competitive as they were old, but it didn't like overwhelm a conference.
Yeah.
Whereas Miami weakened its own conference by taking the best players from other franchises and put them all on one team in their primes, as you pointed out. And
you guys hit it around the head, man. You guys are on the money right here. I mean, like, what's the mindset of these players? Richard Jefferson made some comments back at Charles Barkley, trying to crap on Charles Barkley's career by saying that he joined the Rockets. So when I said in my video and I was talking about this, what's the mindset of these players if they're quote unquote ring chasing back in them days? If you were a great player and you never won a championship and you're at the end of your career, why would you go to a crap team if you're going anywhere at all? You're going to go to a contender, are you not? You're going to go to a team where you have a chance to win. Maybe not necessarily the best team, but you're going to go to a team where you have a chance to win. That's what you're going to do with it. Charles Barkley on the Rockets never made an all-star team after that season. Never once again was he an all-star again in his career. That's the point of it. That's where he was at in his career, guys. Think about it. And the reason why I highlight all-star game is because that's a popularity contest, is it not? So even the great popular Charles Barkley never even made an all-star game after 1997. That was the end of his career, guys. Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, none of these guys made all-star games ever again after that. They were done with the all-star game after that season. It's crazy. Richard Jefferson even broke the 1999 Rockets with Scottie Pippen. Are you kidding me? Scottie Pippen was like 34. I think Charles Barkley was like 35 or 36, and Hakeem was like 36 or 37. They were never all-stars. They were never MVP caliber players, man. It's insane.
They were all in their mid-30s, exactly, and every single player on the Miami Heat was in their 20s. But we all know who Richard Jefferson is. We all know where his allegiance lies. We all know that he's ignoring specific bits of information. So I can't stand to listen to him commentate games when he's involved.
Speaking of clutch plants, there were some requests in the chat for you to go destroy FYF for his latest antics. I'm not sure what all they are. I did see in my feed.
Yeah, they wanted me to go at him about he's talking about if LeBron. He says LeBron James would be 10-0 in the finals if he played in the 90s.
If more of the fucking if conversations.
Exactly.
I also saw
woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I saw that he had also a video that LeBron James is under attack because we didn't just sit back and let his absolute bullshit lying commercial go untouched. How dare anyone call people out for lying?
This is like the press conference he did in Miami, and like he's like, what was it? Dwayne Wade recently said, like, I didn't expect all the backlash or the hate or whatever. And it's like, God, you have no self-awareness then about how you come off to the average person, right? When you make bold claims like that, like LeBron did in his commercial and like they did in Miami, like, and you don't live up to them, or you're not without a questionable doubt, you're not the GOAT, right? Then you look silly and people are going to ridicule you for it. Like, I don't get the like, oh my gosh, I'm taken aback that people didn't like what we said. You know, it's like that's a you problem for sure.
It's like
you did a good video on that too, Nick. Shout out to Nick, man, my man NNB Sports, yo. He did a good video on that.
It's like that meme that you see online where there's like a mound of crap and somebody's shoveling it and launching it over the fence, and then it gets launched back to them. Like, oh my God, I'm under attack. That's what LeBron did. He literally got on a commercial and told everybody he was inferior as he's putting a king's crown on. He got called the Forever King when he hasn't been the NBA champion in 5 years. The Forever King? Are you Jesus Christ? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what is this? And so, yeah, like, it's no like it's like if Sports and Fitness Rants, not that he would say this, but like if he said, "Hey Johnny, man, you're awesome," and I was like, "You know what? I am awesome." How much would you regret like complimenting me if I did? That's LeBron's problem. He's his biggest worshiper. He's his biggest fan. And when he makes it so easy to like compliment himself for literally everything he does, calls himself a Forever King, he creates enemies because people are like, man, screw this guy. I don't want to compliment this guy.
Yeah.
And then if you don't, he does it himself.
Yep.
Yo, think
you're
about
a hater.
Michael Jordan's legendary commercials. I mean, they were inspiring. They would like uplift you. They would give you like goosebumps almost when you think about some of Michael Jordan's commercials and what it's about. And then you say, like Johnny said, then you look at LeBron James commercial and it's about pumping himself up and acting as if you're somebody that you're not. And like I said, it's like, come on, man, this is like it's so cringe to watch the commercial. It's like they're close up on his face. You know what I'm saying? He's got this crown on. It's like, my God, man, this is getting insane now.
Well, it says in the commercial, every rival was like conquered. Every rival defeated. And like Steph Curry's got to be watching this, be like, "Hey, I'm like 3-1 against you in the NBA Finals. What are we talking about here? I was Nick, conquered. Like, what are you talking about?
Or anybody really?
Yeah. So they said defeated. Every rival defeated. And Nick, didn't you say that somebody said, "Oh, no," but they didn't say beaten? That's a counter argument. We're arguing about word use.
I made a video and had a little back and forth with FYF on his post where he put every rival defeated. And so I pushed the point of like, well, who was a rival, right? And who did you defeat? Because I brought up Dirk, and I'm being a little facetious, right? LeBron and Dirk aren't really rivals per se because they met once, but Dirk did defeat him. And so then they go, well, who are the rivals? And if he played people multiple times, who are these people that he defeated? And essentially what they offered up to me was like Paul Pierce was really, and DeMar DeRozan are really like the only guys that he's owned without a shadow of a doubt in the playoffs or in big moments. Because think about it, KD's won 2 out of 3, Curry's 3 out of 4, Duncan's 2 out of 3. I mean, even if you took people like Kawhi, he's 1-1 against Kawhi, right? So it's just there really is no rival that he has that meets their definition that he has defeated that is worthy of like calling yourself the GOAT, right?
Well, you could even throw in Kobe to that, because it was like 2006 to 2012. Who were the two guys who were in the conversation for the best player in the league? You had these guys. And Kobe won a couple championships, and LeBron was losing to Dwight Howard, So it's like he didn't meet him there in the finals where he could have defeated him. Yep. And so that's another guy where you could, as I remember the commercials, they were being set up. I got 3 cookies, you got 0. They were getting set up to be the rivals. And it just never happened. So, I don't know who these rivals are that he's dominated. You can't even say that he's defeated every rival when you literally have a losing record in the finals.
I was going to say one more thing about the commercial you were talking about compared to Jordan, right? The only commercial Jordan has that's anything like that, right, is when he talks about how much he's won. But how does he start it? He goes, I have missed this many shots. I have failed this many times. Yeah. That is why I win, right? Even when he is sort of saying like, yes, I have won a lot, it's in the context of like, I have also failed. Like I have also struggled. I am also human, right? Like, that is the thing about Jordan that we all relate, is that he just seems like he just wants to play ball, right? And everything else in the background is noise. And like,
but he didn't even get personal with it. He didn't say shit. He didn't say shit like I defeated everyone. I destroyed everyone. He just said, because I kept trying after I failed, I ultimately succeeded. But he didn't have to go over further than that. He didn't have to get specific and be like, fuck you, Utah, fuck you, Pacers, and I'm better than everybody. It's just, hey, the message I got, and I was in my 20s when that came out, was don't be afraid of failure. You have to fail to succeed. That's the message I got. LeBron's commercial was just, hi, I'm amazing.
100%. Well, the thing about MJ is like we all agree he's the greatest, but wouldn't you like him less if he called himself like the
Absolutely.
Son? You know, wouldn't you like him less if he was constantly had to let you know he was the greatest rather than let other people tell him? Like, it would be annoying. And even if he did the commercial, defeated every rival, I understand it's not his fault because he didn't have as much help. But like, you didn't defeat Larry Bird. If Michael Jordan came out with that commercial, I'd be like, well, you know, you didn't get Bird quick enough. And so it's just, you're inviting that kind of criticism when you are your own biggest hype man, when your own biggest fan. And that's the thing I can't stand.
You can't have a rival when you joined your rivals. See, that's the problem here. The rivals that LeBron James was ultimately supposed to have were the guys that he came in with. This is why we talk about these comparisons between Michael Jordan, the 80s guys, and the 90s. That's his era. Those are his contemporaries. Those are the guys he's ultimately competing with. LeBron James joined Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. So ultimately, like we talk about, it takes away from your competition. He should have been going against Dwayne Wade. That should have been his rival. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James should have been going back and forth. The Cavs versus the Heat. Yo, who's greater? Dwayne Wade or LeBron James? Who's the next guy up? Chris Bosh trying to make some noise. You had Dwight Howard there. Those are supposed to be your rivals. Carmelo Anthony, who are your rivals? Those are supposed to be them dudes. But all of a sudden, everybody's was hopping with each other, moving around, making chess moves, trying to outmaneuver each other, and we end up with the 2010s. What happens in the 2010s? It's a super team era. That's why we are where we are today. Because of that era, it jacked everything up. Like you guys mentioned earlier, Kevin Durant tried to one-up LeBron James. He literally told LeBron James to hold my beer. He literally told him that. He was like, okay, you want to do it this way? Then guess what, dude? I'm a super dupe it on you, and let's see what you can do when it mattered most. And LeBron James wasn't there for the smoke, man. AOH is highlighting that right now in 2017. This man was dunking screens. He had freaking Richard Jefferson out there guarding freaking Kevin Durant, man. It's insane what you're doing out here. You jack the whole thing up, and then he goes to Cleveland, does it the same thing in Cleveland. You messed the whole damn era up. Kawhi Leonard goes to the Raptors, and they win a championship.
Let me tease everyone. The Just One Play segment, which we will be getting to, does feature a play from the 2017 NBA Finals, Game 1, first period. And I'd also like to catch up with some supers because we're going to get way behind here. It's because like this one, for example, goes back a ways. Why didn't Pablo Torre put his time and effort to research Scrubnificent? Inquiring minds want to know, and that would get more recognition. Well, would it? Are you even allowed to do that? Maybe this is the avenue that Pablo Torre had to take since you're not allowed to shit on LeBron.
Yo, when you saw that Mark Cuban came out and said something, right? So, like I said, all of a sudden now, Pablo Torre's name is up in things. All of a sudden now, you got some big-time, powerful guys looking at Pablo Torre now. What kind of skeletons he got in his closet? Yo, you got to be careful who you're messing with out here. I say the same thing on these live streams. Everyone is responsible for the actions, man, that they do. Whatever they do, you're responsible for those consequences. So Pablo Torre, I'm not saying he's lying or he's misinformed or he's just trying to go after Steve Ballmer. It's some personal weird thing. I'm not saying none of that. He might be doing a great job. He might be an investigative reporter. That's a dangerous situation you're putting yourself in, man. When you got someone like Mark Cuban talking about, you better watch what you're saying about someone like Steve Ballmer, man.
He's literally investigating the sixth richest man in the entire world. Like that is.
Well, then I think
you, man.
Then shouldn't we be giving Pablo Torre more props for having the bravery of doing it?
Ballmer's the richest person in the world.
Yeah, Ballmer is the sixth richest.
Whoa,
man
that's
in the
crazy!
world.
I didn't know he was that rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate the comment. I don't like the idea of telling people to go research something else because you don't like what they were researching. Everybody's got to find their own thing that they do. And apparently no one else is even touching these topics. I don't know.
I mean, we're talking about basketball here, so clearly we all care about basketball, and this has to do with the integrity of the competition itself. I mean, if you're not adhering to the salary cap in the NBA, well, then everything's a farce. It's all fake. It's all, it matters.
It's kind of important.
Yep.
Yeah, make it the MLB at that point.
Mm-hmm. Remember, if you're going to say something like this, You must be able to have all the facts, man. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. When you're coming after these kind of powerful people who have the resources, the attorneys, this guy got all the resources he needs, man. You have to have all of your, what they call it, all your chickens in a row, or ducks in a row. You got to have all your T's crossed, all your I's dotted, man, if you're going to come after someone like this.
Pretty scary world when you can't call out the powerful because they'll just have you erased. I mean, the way of keeping balance is calling out the powerful, and if we're moving away from that, I don't think it's very good news.
No money talks, AOH. You know the deal in the world, man. It's all about the money, man. Yo, don't get it twisted. Anybody in the chat, don't be fooled, man. Money rules the world, man. Money. Absolutely. Remember that, man. It's not the most important thing, but that's what talks. Ultimately, it's the money.
Since Scrubnificent wants to be MJ so badly, I have decided to grant him his wish. He is now mediocre James.
MJ, mediocre James. Yep.
Let me scroll for a couple more here. Or maybe there aren't any more. Maybe I was being overly optimistic. We are way behind on comments, though. If you guys saw any that you want to call out. Oh, here's a super Lebrick and his stupor fans, always dwelling on hypotheticals. Amen. Amen. Is all the proof you need that they're not content with his so-called legacy. Exactly.
True.
We don't have to waste time talking about what Jordan might have done, unless, of course, we are making fun of how stupid what ifs are, because we could easily what if Michael Jordan getting 10 rings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, when we used to do it, and still do it, I mean, it's done at a fun place of fascination. Like, I just wish I could have seen 94 finals, Rockets Bulls. Like, I wish I could have seen Akeem and Jordan in the final. Could the Bulls have won 8 straight? I'll wonder that till the day I die. Could they have won 8 straight? You know, like, what if the Jerry Krause didn't blow it up? Could they have beat the Spurs in 1999? Like, it's like this cool love of the game of basketball type fascination, not how can I finagle a way to make this guy better than the other guy? You know, it's not like we're trying to catch Bill Russell in rings. Like, that's tacky. You know, Jordan's legacy is cemented. It's all just about, like, loving the game and wishing you could have witnessed that, you know?
I was going to say the other layer to, real quick, the other layer to LeBron leaving Cleveland and going to Miami is that next year at Miami was going to be the same year that Jordan had won his first ring, right? And I've always said that I think in the back of LeBron's head, he said, if I want to be the greatest, I have to start winning rings. And I think ultimately that's why he went to Miami, or that's why he ring chased the way he did in the fashion he did. He didn't care. He just knew he needed the rings. So I think that's another development to it that, you know, a lot of these guys, when they ring chase, like you were saying, it's later in their career. They never won one. They're not going to win the ring and be like, now this makes me, you know, now I'm in the GOAT conversation or whatever. They would have taken it with a lot of humility and just said, I'm glad to get this one. And just the way LeBron went after it, I've always said it was just MJ haunting him, that he needed to start winning rings, and it ended up being the worst thing he ever did.
Yo, Nick, think about Michael Jordan when he came in the league, right? And think about the guys that he was trying to go after and chase, the Larry Birds, the Magic Johnsons. Those guys won immediately. They won immediately when they came in the league. We're talking about the first and second years that these guys entered the league. They were NBA champions. So we have to understand the mentality of someone like Michael Jordan. You think he don't see this stuff? You don't think he don't see what's going on in 88, in 89, in 90? All of a sudden, Michael Jordan's looking at Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. They got all these championships. They won early in their careers, man. A lot of these great players won early in their careers. Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. A lot of these guys won early in their careers, man. So Michael Jordan absolutely had to think about these kinds of things, the pressure he was hearing about just being a scorer or a guy that was going to dominate scoring, but you can't win with a guy like that. Everyone was still saying you can't win without a big man. You need some kind of big man. So all of these doubts, and that's why I say LeBron James confuses me sometimes, because he always talks about how he looked up to Michael Jordan. He knows Michael Jordan's career, but evidently you don't. Because Michael Jordan went through all of that, the grind, the battles that we all talk about, all meanwhile knowing that guys like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, they won early in their careers. They didn't have to wait all of those years to touch an NBA championship, and he still went through the battles. That's why we respect him more than LeBron James.
Yeah, but the Bulls got rid of all their future assets in order to bring in Longley to have an unfair advantage for Jordan. I gotta get some super chats, and then let's do the just one play segment to break things up, and then we'll get back to current news and general complaining.
Oh, great.
McZuggin says, not the greatest, the betterest. Cheers all. Yeah, and he never said he beat them; he defeated them. Fucking LeBron fans are just something else, aren't they?
Yeah, and the other cope I heard was he beat them one time, so technically he defeated them, right? And I think most people would say in a career context, if you're going to say you defeated your rivals, you would need at least a 500 record against them, right? With maybe getting the better of them in a bigger moment. Not having a losing record to someone, but you beat them 1 out of 4 times. I don't think most people would consider that defeating your rivals in a career legacy context.
Yo, Dwight Howard said that they took it personal in 2009 that Nike was making commercials with the Kobe Bryant, LeBron James puppets in the finals. He said that they were upset before that matchup because everyone assumed that they were supposed to win. So if we're talking about a Nike corporation hyping up LeBron James's way, hyping up Kobe Bryant, hyping up the NBA finals, we're talking about everyone assuming the Cavaliers are going to win this matchup. Think about the mindset of Nike for them to even think about. They never did it for Michael Jordan. I don't remember no dolls. He's going to go through Detroit like nothing. They never had no one that hyped up like this. You hyped them up, and the Dwight Howard went Michael Jordan on LeBron James. He took it personal against you, and he went out there and destroyed your team, man. And once again, when we think about what Kobe Bryant did to that same exact Orlando Magic team in the finals, this is why a lot of people talk about LeBron James ducking the smoke that year, man. Come on, man.
Again, it's not fair because Dwight Howard had Hito Turkoglu.
Yeah.
Hito.
Okay. Animaniac, 89.
That was the other guy I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Jameer, and then I made that video, and apparently Jameer was actually hurt during a lot of that.
Yeah, no, he was.
Yeah, he came back for the finals.
And that was probably a mistake, too, because they had
that was a mistake, Johnny, yes.
Yeah.
Did you see? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw when I was calling out the bullshit that the Cavs never helped LeBron, and I showed everything that they did for him. But the bigger takeaway to me was the Bulls roster staying consistent and consisting of all draft picks, with the exception of oh my God, I have to say it, the white boy. The one, it's because that's the only. God damn it! What's his fucking name?
Sure.
Huh? No. The first
John
GP.
Paxson.
Oh,
yeah, John Paxson.
Paxson was an actual free agent pickup, who at the time was scoring 4 points a game when they got him. So let's calm down. Okay, Animaniac 89 said Pablo Torre is brave enough to go after the 6th richest man, but not able to call out LeBum with Shale Sonnen. LeBum is definitely an industry plant. Yeah, it's a good point, I guess.
Like you said, man, LeBron James does a lot to protect his image in the media and things of this nature. I don't think that. See, this is the thing. When you think about someone like Steve Ballmer, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Someone like Steve Ballmer, this is so beneath him. This whole thing, in my mind, that's what he's thinking. Because he doesn't believe he did anything wrong, technically, in his mind, perhaps. He really believes that he did nothing wrong, whether he did or not. That's the realm I believe that he's living in. Because you talk about these big guys, and we're talking about money. Think about the money that Kawhi Leonard got. That is pocket change to this man, guys. Think about this. It's pocket, was it $28 million, I think, or something like that? That is pocket change to Steve Ballmer. When you talk about what my man Jimmy just said, you are the 6th. You are the 6th with TH after that in the world. Not
$150 billion.
Not in New York, in the world. You talk about $28 million, that's nothing. That dude sneezes that, man. Every day he spends it on gas for his yacht, man.
Now, is this company, Aspire, the tree company, is it just complete and utter bullshit? Because that actually is what pissed me off the most. It's like, man, you guys haven't actually planting trees this whole time.
It was sick. That's the funny thing is like everybody's like targeting Steve Ballmer, but they're like, hey, this big old climate change money laundering company that's out here to do good in the world is all just like fake and running scams. And everybody's like, F Steve Ballmer. And it's like, it's kind of a big deal too, actually.
Yeah, at least plant some trees, bro. Like,
but they didn't even do it.
I mean. Like,
or maybe they did. I don't know the full details. Maybe they planted a couple, but
not 28 million worth. I can tell you that.
And I'm not saying that Steve Ballmer doesn't know where his money's going. I'm not saying that. He's a billionaire. I'm not saying he doesn't know where his money. Oh, he doesn't know where 20 million. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that these minor transactions in a billionaire's life, these are routine for him. This is not necessarily something that he's like, oh, wait, what's this shady business over here that's going on? This is a routine maneuver for this guy.
What's Reed Spam's message? Oh, shit, where'd it go? God damn it.
I would have to think with him owning a team, but is he a great father? Does he strive for greatness? At least he's not the old owner, right? Getting busted for the racist comments or whatever. But
I just think this trend with the Clippers is hilarious. Like every new owner of the Clippers is eventually going to be forced to sell the team.
Yeah. So that's what we were actually saying that, but hey, man, if he totally, first of all, I think he knew, right? I think owning the Clippers and then knowing that you're going to pay an employee off the books, I think that's something he definitely had to know about.
How could he not have known? Like the salary cap, this is what they all spend like brainstorming in their storm rooms all the time, looking at whiteboards and looking at all these players trying to make it work. Like, how could he not know? Like, come on.
Very involved too. Like you can tell he likes being an NBA owner. He's had a lot of, he's very much like Mark Cuban. Like he's very involved, goes to the games. You can tell he's a big fan, right? But there might be some actual legal consequences here. If it was just a complete no-show and it's seen as fraud and money laundering, like there could actually be some legal consequences. I don't think any actual real world legal consequences will happen. But if it's egregious enough and he gets the wrong judge or what have you, right? I mean, it could be seen as fraud and he could actually, I don't know what they would do. He wouldn't serve jail time, I don't think, obviously, but who knows what they might do legally if they really want to pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
So Inspirational says he can't hear Robin. That's not something you ever hear. You must be the only person on the planet who can't hear Robin. No, you're fine. Everyone can hear you.
I know. I thought I saw people telling me to shut up in the chat.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the other way around.
Somebody said I used to watch the show, except for now Robin talks too much. What was the previous version of the show that you used to watch? Because I wasn't on it. All right, let's get to just one play. We're going to look at the first period of Game 1 of the 2017 Finals. Why? Well, you're right. I should probably finish the other projects that I have. I'm going to turn the audio off on it and give my own background. So Uncut Hoops had a video out the other day, and he happened to be showing clips from the series. And I was just like, man, LeBron's getting worked over and over and over again. And it turns out most of this is from the first period of Game 1, as I would come to find out. This isn't even scouring the entire series to find this stuff. But there was one play in particular that reminded me of my Gobert and LeBron James breakdowns, in which I did a just one play. And it was that play in which LeBron James flees the paint and leaves Maxi Kleber to guard both Reed and Gobert, which of course isn't possible. And so Maxi gets dunked on. We see it again. Like I saw the play that Uncut included here. And I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. LeBron's been doing this for years, apparently. So we're coming up on it, and I'm not going to try and fast forward because there's Durant dunking on LeBron yet again. And here's the play. And don't worry, I go really slow-mo here. All right. You guys tell me whenever you... Okay, so I'm gonna pause it. One thing I pointed out here is that this was off of a missed shot. So you see that things are a little bit discombobulated, and the vast majority of people are at the top of the key, maybe even approaching the half court area. J.R. Smith is caught in no man's land because there was a loose ball. But LeBron James leaves the paint. Did you all see that? Mm-hmm. Leaves JaVale McGee utterly alone. Goes out to guard Kevin Durant, who runs by him immediately and effortlessly. Now, watch JaVale McGee roll down. Again, I'm showing how everyone is at the top. So you've literally got every Cavalier and every Warrior up at the top, and LeBron standing around underneath watching, waiting for his rebound opportunity to pad his stats or catch a breath or whatever, Mr. Best conditioned guy in the league. In any case, the Cavs only have one guy down low, and the one guy down low decides it's a good idea to leave when JaVale McGee goes down to threaten the paint. Oh, I better get out of here. Now start preparing arguments in your mind for why this would be a good idea. I see Johnny rubbing his head. And it's so easy. Kevin Durant decides to dish it off. But look at LeBron get blown by. Gee, good thing you ran out there, LeBron. That helped a lot.
It's the GM's fault for not having Kyle Kuzma on the team so that he could shove LeBron in the back where he needs to be. That's what it is. Yeah.
Poor J.R. Smith has to come over and get shit on.
And that's all you'll see in the poster. It's just J.R. Smith getting destroyed.
J.R. Smith's career. LeBron getting him shit on.
Yep.
So
making teammates better.
Okay, so I think I'm showing this here to say that, yes, maybe one of the two guys up at the perimeter here should have gone over to Durant. But does that justify... Like LeBron is so worried about Durant shooting the three that he gives up a guaranteed dunk? Is that basketball intelligence? I mean, it's a guaranteed fucking dunk at that point.
Yeah, I agree. You have to stay home if no one's there.
Use your imaginations. If you try pretend you're a LeBron fan. Maybe there's a couple of angles, a couple of arguments I haven't thought of to explain this.
I want everybody out there to understand that you see how it says draft 17 in the background there? This is from 2017. So what we're highlighting here is that LeBron James has been doing these same things for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen.
If I was a LeBron fan, I would say that it was his teammates' job to rotate upon LeBron going to the perimeter, and he didn't do his job. That's probably what they'd come up with. Probably.
J.R. Smith maybe could have acted a little faster, but he still is not stopping JaVale McGee at that rate
for
that
sure.
LeBron leaves the paint. It's just not.
I'm purposely trying to be stupid and throw out bad logic because he's asking what they'd say. That's probably it.
Hey, but LeBron's a leader, right? So, I mean, it's on him.
J.R. Smith first has to get over the shock of seeing LeBron James flee a man that was guarded. He's like, wait, he's got to be confused.
Hey, wait, you should have showed highlighted the play where they throw the across court pass right in this man's face. They throw a bounce pass right in front of him, and he's standing there looking at it.
I had one more comment. You're talking about KD scoring on LeBron. There is a great video out there somewhere. I can't remember what it was, but it's like KD and LeBron back in their early years, and they're playing some kind of like pro-am or pickup game, against some good people at a gym. Obviously, these guys don't go to just any gym. And I mean, Durant puts an absolute lesson on scoring. He scores every which way in that game, and you can just see when people talk about how good Durant is. I know he's not playing against NBA competition; it's still good competition, but you can just see how effortless it was for him in that situation, right? LeBron is still like going as hard as possible, and you can tell he does not have the shot. He doesn't have the skills that Durant has, and he struggles much more than Durant does in that when they're playing. It's a really great video. I can't really remember what it is, but it's out there somewhere. And I mean, Durant, just like the skill wise offensively, though, it's just such a great video to watch about how Durant gets his buckets versus how LeBron has to get his, right? And we're talking about against below average NBA competition. So it's a great video. If you guys, it's like probably like a 10, 15-minute video. If you got time to go find it, it's a good watch.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's funny to think about, like, I think sometimes people are too harsh on Shaq, but I get the idea, and I agree to a certain extent. Shaq could have been the greatest player of all time based on how gifted he is, how strong he is, all that sort of thing. I mean, to me, the conversation, I do believe, is a manufactured GOAT debate that's forced. You know, that, like, LeBron's not close to MJ. He's not. He's not nearly as impressive. He hasn't won as much. It's like, Uncut Hoops once said, the gap between, as far as success and accomplishments between LeBron and Michael Jordan is Kevin Durant, like, literally, in terms of finals MVPs, all that sort of thing. And so it's funny, like, could honest people say after LeBron's career is done, like, if he had the same mindset as MJ or Kobe, he could have been the greatest, because, I mean, seriously, when you look at how long now there's been this defensive issues, how poor he's been as a free throw shooter, especially late in games, sort of thing. And just even like with turnovers and stuff, being the all-time leader in turnovers, And the thing that really stood out to me on that defensive play that you pointed out is, think of like the great team defenders like Draymond Green, or even in this recent or current era, Kevin Garnett. Those guys are always yelling and calling out, like, here, you need to be here, you need to make here, rotate, that sort of thing. Like, LeBron's just silently, like, letting everything happening and then abandoning his man. And there's not a word said on defense while they're just being picked apart by the Warriors. Like, that's the thing that stands out to me too, is like LeBron's not taking that leadership role on the defensive end.
Well, Johnny, as Sports and Fitness Rants pointed out, this is just one play of, I mean, the entire first period already is a complete debacle of LeBron James. And to your point about, could he have been better? I was thinking something similar. I was just like, he's so bad. I start wondering if this is a question of a lack of effort or if he's actually that bad. And as if he had tried harder, could they have actually won more? Because half the time he just doesn't look interested in being involved in an effort play, especially one in which he might get dunked on or he might pick up a foul. And that's the difference between winning and losing.
Well, he just said, like yesterday, while they were getting honored for the Redeem Team Hall of Fame and that sort of thing, how Kobe came in and motivated him defensively. And so I genuinely do think that it's not just LeBron either. Defense as a whole, like, at least half of that is an effort and motivation type thing. Like, you have to go out there. It's not like offense where you could just stand in a corner and you're doing your assignment, spreading the floor, waiting for your corner three. No, you have to constantly keep your feet moving. You have to constantly be hunting your man and paying attention. And a lot of guys just don't want to play with that effort, and they take plays off, and it costs them in the long run.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say one of my biggest gripes about superstars are guys. Remember, at least when I was growing up, it used to be in the summertime is when players are made, right? You work on a move or two, a weakness or two. You try to make your things you're good at an ultimate strength or something like that, right? And like one of the reasons I've always been down on someone like Dwight Howard or James Harden or even LeBron James is I have not really seen their game evolve at all. Really, like they come in and they're kind of good at what they're good at and they're great at it. But what about everything else, right? Did Dwight Howard ever get like a little 10-foot baby hook shot? Did he ever get, did James Harden ever get like a 15-foot turnaround? And with guys like Jordan and Kobe and several others, right? Even Magic Johnson, right? Just being good at knocking down an open three if needed, right? They came back and they improved on things, and you could see their game evolving, right? Jordan was not the greatest shooter, right? But you can tell when he started getting to the NBA and he realized, man, I can't just dunk on everyone all the time. You saw the turnaround and the jump shot come along, right? To a point that it was just deadly every time, right? And that's the thing with LeBron that, he says he has a bag, and I see you're athletic. I see you're big. I see you are the specimen of like the 0.001% of just athletes that we've ever seen. But in terms of your game, I just like you brought the free throws. That's what made me think of that, as the free throws. How do you not get to an 85% plus free throw percentage as the GOAT throughout your career, right? Things like that. That stuff drives me crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The only thing I was going to say before is when you guys, Johnny, you were talking about the effort on defense and how that's, half of what you need just to play defense. You have to start with effort. That's where everything starts. That's why I was highlighting before. It was 2017, right? And we're highlighting the first quarter. Because the first quarter of a game, we shouldn't be questioning your effort. The game just freaking started, man. You should be out there hustling. Are you kidding me? I think we all can agree who played sports in our lives, no matter what the sport is, when you first start out that game, you are the freshest you're going to be. So we shouldn't be questioning your effort at the tip of a game, especially when it's the NBA Finals. And look at the plays that we were showing. Just standing around looking uninterested. It's the freaking Finals, man. It's the first quarter. The reason why I said 2017 is because LeBron James is always being celebrated for longevity. But like you mentioned, you're taking off and not giving effort for all of these years since back then. That's why you haven't made an all-defensive team in all these years. It's not because you're not good enough to make an all-defensive team. You haven't given the damn effort. So LeBron James fans would be like, oh, LeBron James, man, peak LeBron James. He locked down anybody. He got 1 through 5. Where's LeBron James' consistency? Where's his consistent greatness on defense? It's never been there. He's been taking a back seat, coasting out there on the basketball court, lollygagging, looking at everybody else. It's ridiculous, some of this videotape. It's embarrassing.
I've got a still I want to share here. Somebody posted this, and it said so much aura. And I guess the if the reading team was honored recently, it would explain why this is posted. But look, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and Kobe were so much more important to that team and that team winning than LeBron James was. And what does LeBron James do? He goes out and gets Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and apparently tried to get Chris Paul too at some point.
Dwayne Wade was really good in that Redeem team. I know Kobe was a leader, but Dwayne Wade really played good in that series.
I think because of Kobe's leadership and defensive, impact, you'd probably say he was the MVP at that time if they gave out the MVP award. But from a statistical standpoint, especially just offensively, you could definitely argue Wade. Wade was nuts for that team.
And remember, they didn't have to win by 1 billion points for the Redeem team. It was about winning. At that point, you needed goal. It didn't matter if you won by 40 or you won by 10. Y'all had to go out there and win because we were looking like a damn, a shell of ourselves out there in Olympic play. So it was about going out there. I'll never forget Chris Bosh telling that story that he told about trying to be the first one at practice because he wanted to set a precedent. He wanted to show, and start off on the right foot. And he said when he got there, Kobe Bryant was already soaked in sweat, man. Like, I mean, come on. The level that Kobe Bryant was at, someone like LeBron James and these other guys, they didn't realize the level that he was at, which is why he was as successful as he was. When you talk about the Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan comparisons, the greatness in Kobe Bryant is that he was nowhere near as gifted physically or athletically as Michael Jordan was. He didn't have the long arms of Michael Jordan or the big hands of Michael Jordan. He couldn't jump or have the quickness of a Michael Jordan. That Kobe Bryant was a great athlete, but not like Michael Jordan. But his work ethic was unmatched by anyone in the history of the game. LeBron James, those other guys, that's what they witnessed. The work ethic in the mind of someone like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Allow me to catch up with some supers. Robin, this is for you. Ready for another close game between Washington and the G-Men? Commanders 24, Giants 17. Good luck.
Yeah, shout out to Justin Messenger for coming through.
That's the score right now?
No.
The game just started right now. Just getting ready to kick off right now. It's
he's predicting that or what?
Yeah, the game's always close. These division games are tough, man. It's a big game for the Giants today. Come on, baby.
The Giants are getting 6 points. I took the points.
Praise the Dawn. Go ahead and read that if you'd like to, Robin.
Yeah, sure. A shout out to Praise the Dawn for coming through. In 2017, LeBron fans were saying Kyrie was better than Steph, K-Love was better than Draymond, and LeBron was better than KD. And they still make excuses. The 17 and 18 Cavs were a super team. Yo, Shanta praised it, Don. This is a great comment because
Yes,
it gives you a snapshot of the mindset and how the reality was. If we all look at that sentence right there and you say, coming into that 17 finals, and you think about how Kyrie Irving outplayed Steph Curry in the 16 finals, then these are true factual statements. Kevin Love, we think about what Kevin Love was doing when he was in Minnesota, right? And obviously, everyone was hyping up LeBron James to be better than Kevin Durant.
This is why this is why so many of us Laker fans are over the LeBron James era. Just so over it. Because every single year we bring in people and we have talent, and who's going to beat us? Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Like, that's just what we're running with. Lakers in 5. And then when we lose, those same people that made us a super team that came in to help LeBron are now the problem. And if you hear that year after year after year after year, at a certain point, you're like, I'm over it, man. Like, it's time to move on. This does not work.
And Uncut pointed out that they did that same thing in 2017. Earlier in the season, they were like, oh, the Warriors are going to regret this move. The Caps look better. Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp were choosing the Cavs over the Warriors. It didn't work out for the Cavs. And so now it was an unsurmountable task and an unfair advantage for the Warriors. And even back then, they were playing the change the tune game that they are still playing today. The bottom line, the common denominator, is that having LeBron James as your leader tends to not work out.
Do y'all think LeBron would have gone back to Cleveland if Kyrie Irving did not prove to be as good as he was? I think he'd only been there for a year or two, but everyone could see he was a talent. Do you think he goes back to Cleveland if they didn't have another star there?
No way.
No.
He wouldn't even go back with Kevin Love, Nick. He demanded that they trade the number 1 pick for Kevin Love. He was not budging off of that. He wanted Kevin Love there. See, that's the funny reality for LeBron James fans. As bad as they think Kevin Love was or is, LeBron James wasn't going there without that dude. So obviously LeBron James thought that much about Kevin Love. And why did he think that way? Because Kevin Love, in the reality of the world, was really, really good, man. This dude had like 30-20 game, a 30-30 game or something like that. I mean, Kevin Love was a rebounding machine that could shoot the ball from outside, man. He was good. I mean, guys, let's think about this. The great players in NBA's history, their role-playing teammates, the other stars that they played with, they're celebrated. They're remembered for being great. Think about LeBron James' teammates. They're not remembered for being great. They're remembered for being less than. You celebrate Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish for playing with Larry Bird. They're not talked about in a bad way. They weren't even that good, man. Larry Bird was carrying bombs to the finals for the Celtics. Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Byron Scott, Vlade Divac, all these guys he played with, they were remembered for being better, man. AC Green, all these guys are remembered in a better light because they played with Magic Johnson. Not like, oh, Magic Johnson was carrying this guy AC Green. Who the hell was AC Green? Who's Byron Scott? That's what LeBron James fans would say. Who the hell's Byron Scott? Who's AC Green? They would have no clue about these guys. All the guys we talk about that play with Michael Jordan, the Ron Harpers, the Tony Kukoshes, Steve Kerr, they think Steve Kerr was Steph Curry in the 90s now. That's how great Michael Jordan's teammates are remembered.
So the question was posed, do you think that LeBron would have gone back if Kyrie wasn't showing that much promise? And as Sports and Fitness Rants alluded, even that wouldn't have been enough. It should have been enough. Kyrie Irving being there should have been enough. No. He had to make a special arrangement for Kevin Love, who the season prior to joining LeBron James, playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves, had a historically dominant performance, becoming the first player in NBA history to record 2,000 points, 900 rebounds, and 100 3-pointers in a single season.
Boom!
Oh, role player.
Well, Kevin Love, because I always love talking about Kevin Love because I wanted that dude. He's UCLA guy, and so I wanted him on the Lakers for the longest time. But 2014, the year before he joined, 26 points per game, 12.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists as a power forward.
Wow.
Shooting 46% from the field and 38% from 3 on 7 attempts per game in 2014. That was your power forward. Like, Kevin Love was nuts, man. He was a fantasy monster at the time. I remember that too because I had him.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he was a fantasy monster.
And I pointed out a stat in my 2017 breakdown. They said that Kevin Love, throughout the 2017 playoffs, 13 games this covers, was shooting 48% from the 3-point line. 48%? Damn. What the hell? Is that not crazy?
That's crazy. When I saw it, I was like, damn, he was on fire.
Oh, he sucked. He's the reason they lost.
If that was Scottie Pippen, everyone would know that. That's why I said it's funny to me how his fans are more invested in Michael Jordan's teammates and what they did for Michael Jordan instead of what his teammates actually did for him. Those guys did a lot. Those guys were stepping up. You know, what the funny thing is, I mentioned earlier in my video about Richard Jefferson's comments defending LeBron James. I said the funny thing is that Richard Jefferson was an integral member of that 2016 NBA Finals. I watched every one of those games over and over and over again, many, many times, man. I was a huge Richard Jefferson supporter when he was on the New Jersey Nets. I'm from the New York area, so those games were local to me. I saw them on TV a lot. I went to some of those games. So the funny thing for me was that Richard Jefferson was saying all this stuff to back up LeBron James. And the sad reality is that he actually was a huge member for the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016. Have you ever heard any of LeBron James fans mention Richard Jefferson's name? Have you ever heard them talk about how he started for injured Kevin Love, who was concussed in Game 3? They don't even know that story. But if that was Steve Kerr, or if that was John Paxson who did some spectacular role and stepped in, or one of Michael Jordan's teammates who stepped in, Kevin Love did not even play Game 3, guys, and they were down 2-0 in 2016. And Richard Jefferson filled in and started for Kevin Love and was a vital member. Kyrie Irving, if I remember correctly, had like 19 points in the first quarter of that game, and the rest was history, man. Kyrie Irving igniting the Cleveland Cavaliers, man, but they never talk about his teammates and what they've done.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Arnett, will you read this super, or are you able to see?
Yeah, no, I got you. Jeremy Jones for $5 says, if you try and search for the contents of LeBron James fan heads, you'll reveal what Geraldo found and open in Al Capone's vault. Wow.
Let's do a couple more. Do a little catch up here.
Geraldo.
Boy, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Rise above anything. MJ isn't letting JJ Barrera guard him in the finals.
Yeah.
That's the facts, man. That's the true statement. There's no one in the world that would say, yo, man, I don't know what Michael Jordan would have done against those kinds of circumstances, man. That would have been tough for him to handle. No one believes this stuff, man. Michael Jordan's ready to bring it.
Oh, LeBron let Barrera guard him and didn't show up. Boy. I mean, some of this shit doesn't sound real. Some of the things from LeBron's actual history just don't seem like it could be real.
Remember, it was Jason Kidd who was giving tips for Rick Carlisle and the coaching staff for the game plan for the Dallas Mavericks. Jason Kidd's insight on LeBron James. Remember, he was the babysitter, the quote-unquote babysitter for LeBron James in 2008. So a couple of years later, there he is on the Dallas Mavericks, and all of a sudden, his insight on LeBron James and his lack of overall game, what he doesn't like and what he does like, helps the Dallas Mavericks in their defensive game plan. Rick Carlisle has said this, and Jason Kidd has verified this.
And he needs more credit for that, too. 9-time All-Defender Jason Kidd.
Nick, how about you read this one, if you can see it?
From David Hudson, $2. LeBron is the Wish Timu version of Nate Robinson. That's funny.
Robin, if you watched that whole 2017 breakdown, you also, and this is involving Kevin Love again. I talked about how LeBron James wouldn't let the better free throw shooters on the team take the technical foul shots and other shots on the team because he was trying to get to his point totals. And
I saw that.
The article I read said that Kevin Love was walking to the free throw line and LeBron shoved him out of there for a tech. And at the time, Kevin Love was shooting like 85% or something like that. And LeBron was shooting 69 in the regular season and 67 in the playoffs. I mean, this probably didn't help Kevin Love's mental health either. Like just having to not only have a reduced role in terms of what he was capable of with Minnesota, but now you have to watch the worst free throw shooter on the team take your team's free throws. I mean,
and wasn't Kyrie Irving like a 90% free throw shooter or something like that? I mean, Kyrie Irving's money from the free throw line.
Yeah,
50-40-90 club, I think.
I mean, like I said, Kyrie Irving's money from the free throw line. What are we doing here?
And Robin, please read this from McZuggins.
Yeah, once again, yo, shout out to McZuggins, man, a true supporter of our live streams. That Kawhi deal was voided if he left LAC. Scummy or not, shows the lengths some owners are down to go to combat team hopping now. What y'all think? Yeah, absolutely. That's the point he's trying to make, the team hopping.
So he's talking about intercepting Kawhi instead of Kawhi actually arriving in LA?
So, no. So Kawhi had that thing, what was it called, like Aspiration or something like that.
Right.
It was a sponsorship that ended up getting like X more millions of dollars for Kawhi. But part of the agreement in that sponsorship was if he ended up playing for another team outside of Clippers within like the next like however many years or so, then the payment would be voided. The contract would be voided, so they would owe him no more. And so I don't know how he's interpreting it, this comment. All I see that as is another manipulative way to get Kawhi on the Clippers and get him to stay on the Clippers. That's how I see it.
Kawhi went along with it too.
Sure.
Kawhi did not like begrudgingly sign that.
No, 100%. I'm not defending Kawhi. Yeah, no,
but it's just so they could protect each other, to be like, just so we're clear, right? This is for while you're here on my team, right? And if you leave,
no, he wasn't the manipulated one. That's probably not even the wrong word. I'm saying dishonest. Dishonest is more what it is. Yeah,
I think McZuggins is saying is that. I think the point that maybe he's trying to make is that the owners or someone like Steve Ballmer has to go to an extreme because of the extreme circumstances of these players and how they're manipulating the owners now, so to speak.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Right. King Speech, thank you for pointing this out. I saw this clip and I did want to talk about it today. Like, LeBron looks more at home in China than he does in the United States, I got to tell you. And did you hear the crowd? Did you hear the crowd shouting MVP as he was walking by? I'm like, do these people know what MVP means? Or do they just know that you're supposed to say it when you see a basketball player? I mean, it didn't have any context that made any sense, but LeBron James missed every fucking shot he took and finally ended the thing with a lazy two-handed dunk, and the crowd erupted for him after missing every shot. And King Speech says it proves that the NBA is magnet ball.
Anyone who's over 6'6" in China, they probably call MVP.
Yo, you know what's funny about that, man? These are the things that we're talking about. These are the stories that go out for LeBron James. I remember the story came out of the Space Jam 2 camp when they said that female beat him in that free throw contest or that shooting competition. Some woman that worked on the movie beat him behind the scenes, supposedly. These are the stories you hear about LeBron James behind the scenes. You think about Michael Jordan. What are the kind of stories that we hear about Michael Jordan behind the scenes? How he's outside schooling people and doing all this incredible stuff. I remember that story of Michael Jordan at his camp where Chris Paul challenged him to make every shot around the world. He had to make a three-point shot from around the world, right? And if he missed any of the shots, then the kids at his camp would get free sneakers. And they were laughing about how Michael Jordan is such a competitor. He didn't miss any of those shots. And if you look at the last shot, he shoots a free throw, right? And Chris Paul actually tries to put his hands in front of Michael Jordan's eyes as he's going up to shoot, almost hitting Michael Jordan's hands. And Michael Jordan still makes the shot. He doesn't miss any of the shots. When I talk and tell people that, to me, Michael Jordan's the greatest shooter of all time, it's not because, he's the most greatest pure shooter. He's going to win a three-point contest, or he's going to win some of these shooting competitions. Oh, he's going to make 50 free throws in a row, and he's going to win some free. If I need a basket when it matters most,
amen,
I'm going Michael Jordan.
Dude, I didn't even know that story. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
And don't forget the Nike camp story where they tried to bury that footage of him getting dunked on. You remember that? That was the first bad look for LeBron that I can remember.
Uncut, welcome to the show. I mentioned you earlier, and I wanted to ask you, where do you get your higher quality clips? Do you have the entire games in high quality? Because mine always end up being a reduced quality when I go and get the entire game. And I also needed to read. Actually, Robin, you want to do this? Bring the energy for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Daryl Jones for coming through, man. To Nick, Wrong, and Gil, and all LeBron fans last night at the Hall of Fame ceremony. LeBron admit that he was trying to get to Kobe level. This proves Kobe was the best player in the 2000s.
Right. How can you be trying to get to Kobe's level if you're better than Kobe at that time?
This shouldn't even, that's just revisionist history with LeBron fans. Anybody who's old enough remembers that was Kobe's era. Like they were literally saying it wasn't until I think 2011. Seeing Kobe get swept by Dirk Nowitzki, I mean, they were expected to make it to the finals a third straight. I guess technically that would be a fourth straight year for the Lakers, and I think that's where Kobe lost momentum in that. But up until that point, Kobe was the best, and everyone was saying it. Like they recently even dug up some polls done on ESPN, and they asked, and Kobe had like 65% of the vote, and LeBron had something like 28%, and then everything else was everybody else.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate too, because like you were saying, that was kind of the where Kobe kind of stalled out a little bit, and that was right when LeBron started going to finals. So it kind of sucks that it's almost like people are going back and they kind of just see Kobe in this place, and then all of a sudden it became LeBron, not understanding that Kobe dominated for 10 plus years when LeBron was in the league, or 8 years, or however long it was.
Which has always been tough for me, because if you go year by year and say who is the best player each year, 2011 is hard for that reason. It's hard for me to say Kobe, even though like it wasn't his best year. The way they went out, they got swept. I can't say LeBron seeing out. Like, I'm sorry, that finals that undoes it. So do you say Dirk? Like, who would you say in 2011? That one's always been tough for me.
Hey, remember also though, in relation to Kobe Bryant and his career kind of ending the way that it did or whatever, we also have to remember that Kobe Bryant wasn't allowed to manipulate all these trades and free agents, apparently like LeBron James has been able to do, because they denied him the trade for Chris Paul because they were worried about what? Some unfair competitive advantage for Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. So it's really funny to me that they would use that excuse to stop the Chris Paul trade, but you let LeBron James and the rest of these guys manipulate the NBA in such a degree that you destroyed it. I mean, like I said before, think about the 2010s and what it gave us today. The reality of where we are right now, guys. How the NBA All-Star Game is in shambles. We've talked about how these guys need flopping guidelines. They have load managing guidelines now for these guys. All the things that are going on in the league, it's ridiculous. The play-in tournament, the in-season tournament. This is all due to the 2010s play, guys.
Yeah, that was the year that Derrick Rose won it. So
right,
he's probably worthy
Part of my evidence that I did not always hate LeBron is that I rooted against Kobe. And when they were heralding this new guy, LeBron, I was like, oh, maybe this freak of nature that they say is also talented can, knock Kobe off. And that's not really how it went down. Kobe ended up, falling off from injuries and other things, but LeBron never defeated Kobe. In fact,
Kobe wasn't even supposed to win those 2 championships that he got the end. That's the grace of Kobe Bryant. Johnny, you just said before, well, I guess technically he was supposed to be going for 4 in a row. That's right, my man. He was supposed to be going for his 4th trip to the NBA Finals in a row with a team that no one really thinks is like that. So he wasn't building a super team and going to 4 straight NBA Finals or attempting to do this. He was doing this with good players that were solid role players that did their job. The Lamar Odoms, the Pau Gasols, right? Some of these guys that he was winning with, they weren't bums, they weren't scrubs, but they weren't household names, man. He was making it work. What did Michael Jordan say to him? Yo, you got to figure it out, dude. If you want to be a winner, you want that, you got to figure it out. He figured it out. And what ended up happening for someone like Kobe Bryant versus someone like LeBron James, because Kobe Bryant was so obsessed with winning championships and trying to match Michael Jordan, because he gave it all on both sides of the court consistently, his body couldn't hold up that way. And he ended up breaking down ultimately. You didn't get that trade to help boost your career. You got Steve Nash when Steve Nash was damn near 40 years old, man. Come on, stop it.
Well, here's the thing. Just to piggyback off of that. Here's the thing that's frustrated me about LeBron and why he's been plummeting on my all-time list fairly recently, is because I think that you could really learn a lot about an athlete, how he responds to a big loss. Like, literally, visibly, how does he take it? Remember Kobe, he just won 3 straight championships, 2000, 2001, 2002. They get eliminated in the semifinals by the Spurs in 2003 in 6 games. And right after the interview, they asked Kobe what he's going to do, and he's in tears. He's in tears that they didn't just win 4 straight. Any other regular NBA athlete would have been, not any other, but any like the Jordans, the Kobes,
just
that
basketball.
Sort of thing. Yeah, or not even that far. Not even that far. They'd cope with the fact that, well, you can't win every game. No, Kobe's in tears because he expected to win 4 straight. And not only that. But Caron Butler has a really cool story about when him and Kobe were teammates. And I've told this one before on this channel, but I just love it so much because it really tells you a lot about leaderships and the stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But all the other Laker players are saying, come on, Kobe, you freaking introvert isolationist, come hang out with us and let's go hit the nightclubs. Let's go out. Let's go do things.
I remember this.
And, Kobe doesn't want to do it, but eventually he's, all right, fine, I'll go out with you guys. So they go out that night. Everybody comes home at 2 a.m. And then at like 4 a.m., he's knocking on their doors and like, what are you doing? We just said goodbye like 2 hours ago. He said, we did your thing. Now you're going to do my thing. Now we're going to the gym. Okay. And now we're spending hours in the gym while all of them are like hung over and stuff. But that when they were like, okay, I see what we expect this season. This is what we're doing. I'm not going out late at night because I want to do this. That's leadership. So then you have LeBron saying usually one of three things after he gets eliminated or after they lose a game. Either it's just basketball, it's somebody else's fault, or the team needs to get better. And it's like it's one of those three things every time. Where is that leadership step that's saying, no, we can win with what we have now. I need to lead, and we need to make more of it. And that's the part that's just missing.
Yeah, I have two funny stories about Caron Butler. Apparently, he used to drink a whole 2-liter of Mountain Dew before the game or at halftime. I can't remember which one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it just tells you the metabolism of these guys, though. And the other one was, remember, don't forget, he got hurt the year the Mavs won it. He got hurt like a third of the way through the season. He was playing arguably some of the best basketball he had ever played all around.
Sure.
So I really wish he would have stayed with us that year to win it with us.
Yep.
You guys, I've got friends come over to watch football.
Do it, man.
Haas wants to call in. Some other people want to call in. If you want to entertain that while I am not here, you can, or we can just cut it clean.
Giants are on, man.
Okay.
I got to go watch football
we'll
too.
Johnny, thanks for being here. Nick, thanks for being here.
Man.
Robin,
Appreciate
thanks for being here. Everyone in the chat, thank you for being here. Everyone go have a great football Sunday.
Catch you guys on the next one.